entrance street were in the area of original civilian settlement, which developed outside the walls of the Roman up the street as we turn around to the left. So here in Foregate Street, many of the older buildings have the upper stories built out across the pavement, with wooden or sofas. In front of us, and it'll come around on the left after we've turned, is Grosvenor Park. The area was given to the city by Richard Grosvenor in 1867, and to commemorate his generosity, a greater-than-life size white marble statue was paid for by the public and put up in the park. You can take a little walk to find that yourselves. It's not too far in, and it's a fabulous view to look at. It's one of the finest examples of a Victorian park in the country, and there's lots of open space, Roman gladiators, showing groups, tourists around Chester's amphitheatre. So keep an eye out for those as you go around the city. They're usually showing primary school children how to fight their teachers, so keep an eye out for that. But you might only notice that only 2/5 of the amphitheatre had been excavated. The memorial on the back wall allows you to experience the illusion of a complete amphitheatre, and it was said to have been as tall as the Travel Lodge, which you can see opposite it. So as you can imagine, it would have been rather large. Program of special exhibitions and events, so there's something for all ages at the museum. So as we go around the roundabout, look out on your left, the military museum with the crown courts, and also in the distance on the hill is Chester's very own castle, which dates back to 1070. I think it was found by William the Conqueror. As we go along Grosvenor Road, it was held on the 9th of February 1539 with the consent of Mayor Henry G, whose name led to the use of the term GG for horses. It's 65 acres of racecourse and was once the site of a harbour during the Roman times, but over the River Dee on the Grosvenor Bridge. It was opened in 1832 to relieve congestion from the old Dee Bridge, which we'll see shortly. It's a single span stone arch, and is still the longest masonry arch in Britain. Crossed over the bridge, we're going to go under the bridge gate, which at the end of the 15th century consisted of a Gothic arch with a tower on each side to protect the city. But as the need for defence declined, the narrow arch was replaced with the present structure in 1759. Purchased from the Earl of Derby in 1788, it was considered to be so dangerously ruinous that it had to be immediately demolished. And the present arch, which you can see in front of you, we're about to go under, was designed by Joseph Turner and put up the following year. So as we reach the bottom of the hill, the flat area around us, including the racecourse which is now to the left, was once a thriving port. It was established by the Romans as a means of trading with other parts of their empire. And it would have been the main embarkment point had they gone ahead with their plans to invade Ireland. But it's actually a scout hut, and it's in the shape of a ship. which is rather suiting for the canal, if I'm honest. So that's just coming up on your left now. But as I say, the water tower is on your right, and it was constructed of red sandstone in the 14th century. It's attached by a spur wall to the city walls, which at the time stood on the banks of the river. Its prime purpose was to defend the port of Chester and also monitor the movement of shipping. When everything had silted up at the end of the 16th century, the tower itself became landlocked. The Chester Canal was opened in 1772, but it only came into prominence when the As we go along Northgate Street then, keep an eye out on your right for Chester's newest tourist attraction, Story House Theatre, which I mentioned briefly earlier. But you can pop in there for a drink, watch a film, watch a piece of theatre. They have lots of events on, so be sure to check out what they're up to today. But for now, we're approaching the end of our tour. We hope you've learned some interesting facts and seen some great sights in the city. When you leave the bus, please remember to take all of your personal belongings with you. And if you haven't already done so, why not pop into the Visit Chester Information Centre, which you can see now it's coming around on your left as we turn this corner where the big eye is. It's been a pleasure showing you around our great city. If you've enjoyed it, be